Okay, so now let's talk about different types of metabolic diversity that there are amongst the living organisms on Earth. Some organisms get their energy from light. If an organism gets its energy from light, it is a phototroph. So you say photo at the start of these two names. Some organisms get their energy from electrons. So here, electrons, if they get their energy from electrons, they are chemotrophs. So we see chemos. Some chemotrophs get their electrons from inorganic compounds. So they don't really use large molecules, but it's electrons in inorganic compounds. Some molecules get their electrons from organic molecules, a big old sugar molecule or something. Chemotrophs get their energy from electrons. Phototrophs get their energy from light. Then some cells get their carbon from carbon dioxide. If they get their carbon from carbon dioxide, they are an autotroph. Okay, autotrophs. If they get their carbon from sugar, they can't use carbon dioxide. They have to have some sort of organic molecule. They're a heterotroph. Okay, so that then gives us photoautotrophs. They get energy from light and carbon from carbon dioxide. Photoheterotrophs, they get energy from light, but they can't get carbon dioxide. They can't turn that into sugar. So they have to have some sort of organic molecule. Alcohols, fatty acids, and carbohydrates. Chemoautotrophs that can use reduced inorganic molecules to provide electrons for their energy, and they can fix carbon dioxide for their carbon. And chemoheterotrophs that have to eat something for energy and have to eat something for carbon. So of these four types of organisms, where would you put people? So people have to eat to get energy. People have to eat to get carbon. We are chemoheterotrophs. Where would you put plants? Plants are photoautotrophs. They're able to get energy from light. They're able to use carbon dioxide as a carbon source. Where would you put bacteria? If you said bacteria photoautotrophs, you are correct. If you said bacteria photoheterotrophs, you are correct. If you said bacteria chemoautotrophs, you are correct. If you said bacteria chemoheterotrophs, you are correct. So there are bacteria that can do just about anything. One individual species is not going to do everything. One individual species may be strictly a chemoheterotroph, but there are other species that can be other things. So we have cyanobacteria, green and purple bacteria doing photosynthesis. They are photoautotrophs. We have green and purple non-sulfur bacteria that are photoheterotrophs. We have iron oxidizing bacteria that are chemoautotrophs. These are wild to me. Chemoautotrophs that are iron oxidizing bacteria. And then fermentative bacteria that are chemoheterotrophs. A lot of the bacteria that make us sick are going to be within this chemoheterotroph category. Then we also are able to do anabolism. After all of this breakdown, we can build stuff up. To build what we need. Need a new mitochondria, need a new ribosome, need a new cell wall. You can build it through anabolism. Another word for anabolism is biosynthesis. It just means you're making the stuff that your cell needs. You're taking little things to make the big stuff you need. All that ATP we just made in catabolism is now used for biosynthesis because synthesis takes energy to make stuff stick together. Within a bacteria, some different types of polysaccharides they may need to biosynthesize would include glycogen to store energy and peptidoglycan in their cell wall. They'll be synthesizing lipids such as phospholipids to make a plasma membrane. Some bacteria make lipids that are toxins to us, something like lipid A that we'll come back and talk about. Bacteria will need to make enzymes. They'll need to make channels and pores. Sometimes they make some amino acids that are toxic to us. And bacteria will need to make purines and pyrimidines to build their nucleic acids, to build their DNA and RNA. Let's actually skip this slide because I don't care. Our last thing to talk about is amphibolic. So an amphibolic pathway is going to be this kind of bridge pathway to bridge what you're building and what you're breaking down. It can run forward if you need to, break stuff down, get energy. If you have plenty of energy and you need to start building stuff, it can run backward to build the stuff you need. So it can, if you need energy, you have plenty of stuff, you need to start making energy. You have plenty of energy, you need to make stuff. That is what an amphibolic pathway is. That amphi prefix tells you dual because it runs in two ways. So that's what an amphibolic pathway is. All right, done with this chapter. Are you so glad that we're finally finished with this? I think this is some actually incredibly exciting information within chapter 5 that relates to not only how we live, but how every living organism lives. But I know it is very deep and it can be confusing. Please take your time as we are studying this. Complete all those activities I asked you to do. Complete that extra credit activity. It'll really help you start to make sense of this. It is just going to take a lot of time. Read your textbook, watch those extra videos, spend the time required because it really is time that is going to be helping you finally get it to click. I am here for you if you have questions. Feel free to drop in office hours. Feel free to send an email. Let me know how I can help you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.